U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has refused to rule out military force to gain control of both the Panama Canal and Greenland. Since winning the election, Trump has repeatedly expressed his desire to take over the strategically important waterway and island. During his first term in office, Trump expressed an interest in buying Greenland, which is an autonomous territory of Denmark, a longtime U.S. ally and NATO member. But the governments of Greenland and Denmark have repeatedly rebuffed his offers.
Trump has once again set his eyes on Greenland, posting on his site Truth Social on Monday. He said, "Greenland is an incredible place, and the people will benefit tremendously if and when it becomes part of our nation. We will protect it and cherish it from a very vicious outside world. Make Greenland great again." And on Tuesday, the future president doubled down on his claims, even refusing to rule out military force.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world.
Trump made these remarks while his son Donald Jr. was on a brief visit to Greenland, officially as a tourist and not holding talks with officials. And officials in Denmark have made it very clear several times that Greenland is not for sale. King Frederik has, in fact, chosen a new Danish coat of arms with a prominent polar bear depicting Greenland. Many see it as a statement of solidarity. Greenland is a self-governing territory, but belongs to the Kingdom of Denmark.
There's definitely a correlation between the new coat of arms and the politics in Denmark about stronger recognition of Greenland and the Faroe Islands. It's credible that the royals do it, because King Frederik has a close connection to Greenland and much love for it.
Trump had already expressed his desires to own Greenland during his first presidency. The island nation has a strategic location in the Arctic for trade and defense, and the bounty of natural resources.
Victoria Herrmann is a senior fellow at the Arctic Institute, a nonprofit dedicated to Arctic security research. She joins me now. So I guess the question is, how seriously should Denmark take Donald Trump's remarks about buying or seizing Greenland?
We should take Donald Trump seriously at his remarks because he has been interested in Greenland not just for the past few days, but for the past few years. Greenland has been an area of interest to the United States for over 100 years, not to purchase or to invade, but to partner with. Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark are a strategic ally of the United States, militarily, economically, and culturally. In this conversation, we forget that Greenland is a homeland to 56,000 people, and they should just as much be part of the conversation as any politician here in D.C.
So how exactly do you justify or explain Trump's interest in Greenland? Is it because of natural resources?
Greenland is rich in natural resources, in cultural heritage, and in leadership. The people of Greenland have created a diverse and robust economy, and they are moving towards independence. The incoming president may see this as an opportunity for particular economic endeavors like rare earth minerals, but what is lost here is a strong strategic partner, not just for rare earth minerals, but for fisheries, and to build up an Arctic economy that can withstand the rapid changes that we're seeing because of climate change.
Now, Denmark says Greenland isn't for sale, so is that the end of the matter?
It is never the end of the matter with the incoming president, but Greenland is not for sale. And it is not only for the Kingdom of Denmark to state this, but from the Prime Minister of Greenland and the government of Greenland to say. Greenland has been very strong in its ambition to become independent from the Kingdom of Denmark. In 2008, over 75% of Greenlanders voted in a referendum for independence. So it's not just the Kingdom of Denmark that we should be listening to, but more importantly, the government of Greenland.
Now, we have seen in the past that Donald Trump is willing to use sanctions and other measures to put economic pressure on both partners and what he perceives as enemies of the U.S. So are there any points of leverage that he could have over Denmark or Greenland?
The United States is one of the world's largest economies. It is the world's largest military. There are lots of levers that the United States can use, but should it? Absolutely not. Greenland, by function of being within the Kingdom of Denmark, is a party to NATO. They are our allies. To use armed force, to use sanction, would not just be going against another nation state, it would be going against a strong ally that is desperately needed as we see increased tensions across Europe.
All right, that was Victoria Herrmann with the Arctic Institute. Thank you very much for your analysis. Let's get more from DW correspondent Janelle Dumalaon in our Washington studio. So, Janelle, President-elect Trump is known for his hyperbolic rhetoric. Should we actually take his interest in Greenland seriously?
Well, if repeated mentions over the years are an indication of seriousness, then I guess it is fair to say that he might be pretty serious this time as well. Now, you mentioned in the report that he already tried to buy Greenland in his first term. In fact, he had to postpone a state visit in 2019 to Denmark after the Danish Prime Minister said that Greenland wasn't for sale and that was an absurd idea. This is something that she has had to say again this time around, and so has the Prime Minister of Greenland itself. And, you know, we have to say that his refusal to rule out economic and military coercion, those in themselves are quite serious pronouncements. Now, this is Trump. We don't know how much action will follow on from speech, but of course he is hard to ignore. Last month, the Danish government actually said that it was boosting defense spending for Greenland after remarks made by Trump again about how he was interested in buying Greenland. Danish officials have said that that was purely coincidental and not at all connected to Trump's remarks. But it's hard to imagine that Trump's known to be volatile foreign policy was completely absent from their minds.
Now, on the face of it, buying Greenland sounds kind of bizarre. Do we know why Trump is so interested in the territory?
Yeah, he's called buying Greenland an absolute necessity, and he really does seem to be looking at it from several standpoints. One is the security standpoint. Greenland, of course, is located between the U.S. and Europe. It's strategically important at a time where Russia, China, and the U.S. are vying for control over the Arctic. Greenland is also rich in natural resources. We're talking about oil and gas, and we're talking about rare earth metals. So there are plenty of reasons for Trump to be interested in Greenland. Now, as to whether Greenland itself is interested in Trump, that bit we really don't know, but interesting to note that Greenland is quite in a specific time, politically speaking. There's an independence movement there that has been gaining some momentum over the last years, independence from Denmark, I should say. But whether they would really just want to switch ownership from Danish hands to American hands is quite questionable, really, instead of, I don't know, being able to determine their own futures.
Yeah, that is the question of the hour. Now, this all comes while we're having vague threats of military action against American allies like Greenland, Denmark, and Panama, and also suggestions that the U.S. could try to annex Canada. Are these signs of things to come from the U.S.'s foreign policy under Trump, too?
Yeah, so, those are quite remarkable statements that he has been making. He's talked about taking over the Panama Canal from Panama. He's talked about making Canada the 51st state. He's called the border between the U.S. and Canada an artificial line. So really, I think it's difficult to say whether he has a concrete foreign policy goal in mind when he says these things, but I think it does betray a certain kind of mindset. Perhaps it's a mindset that harkens back to his former role in life as a real estate mogul, where it was important for him to take land and own structures. But that is just me speculating. But I think there is something to it. Perhaps when he talks about his vision of America, what he's really talking about is a more expansionist vision. When he talks about making America great again, perhaps what he actually means is going back to an America with more imperialistic impulses. And I do have the feeling that this is another layer to America First that we're going to end up talking about more and more as his administration progresses.
Yeah, we truly are living in interesting times. I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. That was DW's Janelle Dumalaon. Thank you very much for your analysis.